This video will show you how to install a shift boot in an Evo X MR and will also work for SST-equipped Ralliarts. This particular boot was made by Kidney Thief 13 on evo10forums.com, and you can order directly from her if you're a member on that site. Included in your purchase is either a suede or regular leather shift boot and 2 zip ties. One is extra. The tools you need are a Phillips head screwdriver, a box cutter, and a pair of scissors. Install is extremely easy and should only take a few minutes. In our case, the aftermarket suede shift boot is already installed, but we'll fully remove it and install an aftermarket leather boot to better illustrate the entire install process. So, what you first want to do is make sure you're in park and have your e-brake fully engaged. Then, unscrew your shift knob. Your stock boot will have a snap facing the front of the car right about here, so you'll want to go ahead and unsnap that at this point. Next, grab your box cutter and insert it between the AWC switch and the rest of the center console. Be careful not to scratch the plastic when pushing the box cutter in and toward the shifter to pop this plastic piece out. Unplug the harness and place the AWC switch and its surround aside. Next, remove your ashtray and place that aside. Now, lift up the armrest with one hand, and with the other hand inserted in the new hole here, carefully pull up at the center console plastic. Remove this piece and place it aside. Now remove these 2 screws. Removing these 2 screws frees some of the shifter surround, which we can pull up on now. There are 2 harnesses located underneath. Unplug them. After removing the 2 harnesses, it'll free up the surround a little more. However, since we have a zip tie holding in this shift boot, we need to cut that to free this up. After removing that zip tie, we can move the surrounding even more to get to the 3 screws that are holding this in place. We'll remove them now. You can now pull out the shift boot with this white plastic. Your stock shift boot will be held in place with staples, which can be removed with the box cutter. And then after that, this shift boot can be removed completely from this white plastic. Grab your new shift boot and secure it to the white plastic base. There's a side with a little portion cut out, and that fits above this plastic raise, which faces the back of the car. A simple solution to help you hold this thing in place is we've got some double-sided tape around the perimeter of this plastic piece. Okay, so now we're going to slide this white plastic piece back to where it was before, and we'll screw it in place. Next, we're going to invert the boot and carefully slide it over the reverse lockout. Next, grab a zip tie and secure the boot at the bottom where it narrows. Now that the zip tie is tight, you'll want to keep the head in this position, and we'll just cut off the excess. Okay, so with that step done, we'll just reverse the install process. So before we slide this back down, we'll get these harnesses back in. Next, we'll get these screws in there. When putting the cup holder back, be careful if you have the interior sport package. This e-brake handle's wider than normal, and it'll scratch if you're not careful. Next, we can get the AWC switch in place. Don't forget the harness. Get that ashtray back in. And readjust the boot to your liking. And the final touch is we'll get this knob back on. There we go.